Well guys, I gotta say, what a great year it was for romance anime. I really mean this when I say that 2025 just might be the best year romance anime ever had. Seriously, this year deserves a top 20. I mean, there's just too many good romance anime out there that deserve a place on this list. But I decided to show some restraint. I'm just gonna go with the usual top 10. Because you see, in my channel, I always kept it to a top 10 with 3 honorable mentions, no exceptions. And with me being a big shot YouTuber, I have to hold myself to a higher standard. My fans are counting on it. Look at this, my total of 13,000 regular viewers are counting on my consistency. So with a heavy heart, I'm just going to stick to a top 10 and accept the consequences. So sorry if I leave out one of your favorites, it is what it is. With that out of the way, let's get this top 10 started, shall we? Starting off with my 3 honorable mentions. For my first honorable mention, I have Tying the Knot with an Amagami Sister. In my years of watching anime, I can tell you, I have seen my fair share of them take place in temples and shrines. And while the beginning of this one felt like yet another one, looking at this season as a whole, it was pretty good. It just kept getting better over time. In 24 episodes, this anime really got you to like all the main characters. And the story had a surprising amount of depth. It got me invested more than I expected. It ended up becoming one of the more fun shrine animes I've seen in recent years, and for that, it deserves an honorable mention. For my second honorable mention, I have Dealing with Mikadono Sisters is a Breeze. This anime was way better than it had any right of being. I mean, a story about a poor guy helping out a bunch of rich sisters isn't exactly groundbreaking storytelling, but this one had an interesting spin. Unlike the usual rom-com, the girls were tomboys, and the boy was more of a tom girl, while also being confident in himself. Now, those may seem like minor changes, but those changes created a dynamic that honestly was a lot of fun to watch, because it felt different from what you would usually see in anime. The chemistry between the characters made the show for me. I ain't gonna lie, I'm hooked. Japan, I need a second season, please. For my final honorable mention, I have Aharen-san is Indecipherable Season 2. Ah yes, my favorite awkward couple. Listen, these two dorks may not know what they're doing most of the time, but that's okay because what matters is that they have each other. You can't get more wholesome than that, right? And while I thought the ending of the first season was satisfying enough, this second season, yeah, that was nice. It's the kind of ending you'd love to see as a romance fan. You'd love to see it. So bravo, and with that, that's all for our honorable mentions. Let's head over to that top 10. At number 10, I have Ranma 1/2 the Remake Season 2. The OG gender bender anime where our guy, when he gets exposed to cold water, he turns into a girl. And when he gets exposed to hot water, he turns back into a boy. It's an undeniable classic from the 80s and 90s. I will admit, I was never the biggest fan of this series, but with this remake, I've been really enjoying it. An old school anime like this just hits different these days. It has a charm to it that modern anime don't have. And this remake really did this series justice by preserving the classic art style while giving it a fresh coat of paint. The story also brought back all the beloved characters and ridiculous shenanigans. Absolute chaos at times, but never taking itself too seriously. It's just one of those where you could just watch 100 episodes of. Hate to sound like an old guy, but they just don't make them like they used to. In any other year, this would have been in my top 5, but 2025 was just too good for romance anime, so top 10 will have to do. At number 9, I have My Dress Up Darling Season 2, a season I felt was an upgrade from the first one. While it is 12 more episodes about a guy making outfits for a girl who loves cosplaying, the season expanded on it with not just unique outfit designs, but also new settings as well. Also, we were introduced to new cosplayers who added depth to the story. It brought up some of the realities that could come with being a cosplayer, like how you might be judged by others and the anxieties you may have. When it wanted to be serious, the anime did a great job with it. Then, of course, we have our main girl, Marin. I mean, yeah, we all know she's peak best girl. There is an enthusiasm and positivity to her that I'm not sure if I've ever seen in a best girl before. Waifu? Yeah, sure. But also, everyone could just use a friend like Marin. The world would just be a better place. As for the overall season, yeah, you could say the romance could have been better, but we still ended up with plenty of wholesome and hilarious moments between our main duo, so for that, I have My Dress Up Darling Season 2 at number 9. At number 8, I have Dandadan second season. Now that we're 2 seasons into this thing, I can definitely say it is one of the wackiest anime I've ever seen. In a good way, of course. I mean, we got aliens, ghosts, monsters, mechs, live human mannequins, heavy metal bands, dudes in underwear, worms doubling as fire hoses, and believe it or not, it all makes sense. Or maybe it doesn't, I could just be losing it. That's definitely a possibility. In any case, what makes this anime so great is that for being a shonen, it gives us a little bit of that romance. Sure, there isn't a whole lot, but what we do get is pretty sweet. And if you look at pretty much every other modern shonen anime out there, Dandadan is basically an oasis in the middle of a desert. I mean, have you seen Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man? I mean, oh my goodness. And it's not just the fact that we get some lovey-dovey moments. It's also the way our duo works together, like in fights where the guy is the legs and the girl is the arms. That's the type of teamwork I'd like to see more of. So Dandadan Season 2 was probably the most fun I had watching a shonen anime this past year. And as a romance, it's in my top 10. At number 7, I have Blue Box. I will admit, I had my doubts when it came to the first half of this season. Yes, the animation and the music were incredible. And yes, it was nice seeing a romance anime take place in a sports setting. But the romance itself didn't really impress me at first. It didn't feel like it was really going anywhere. But when the second half of the season came around, I became a fan. Instead of being the usual snooze fest of a love triangle, we actually got some developments that pushed our guy to make a choice. I really like that. While it is natural in a love triangle to cheer for one love interest over the other, by the time our guy ends up making his choice, you get it. Even if it's not what you wanted. Because when it comes to falling in love, sometimes it just is what it is, and Blue Box did a really good job of showing that. With a strong finish to the first season, the sequel is looking pretty promising. If it keeps getting better moving forward, it might become one of my favorites. At number 6, I have Tatsuki Fujimoto 17 through 26. This one came out of nowhere. For those of you who don't know, Tatsuki Fujimoto is the author of the hit series Chainsaw Man. You know, the one about the guy who has a bunch of chainsaws sticking out of him and he slices up a bunch of demons. Oh, so romantic, I know. And for this anime, we got an adaptation of the short stories our author wrote in his earlier days when he was between the ages of 17 and 26. Now, I don't know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't romance. At least not the happy kind. Well, stick me in a dress and call me Sally. Because that's exactly what we got, and it's really good. Don't get me wrong, there's still some gore and nudity here. But with each episode being its own self-contained story, there were episodes that gave us some actual wholesome romantic moments. And we're talking like half the episodes here. There was even a love confession scene that I think was one of the funniest ones I've seen in years. Yeah, a great romance anime from the guy who gave us Chainsaw Man was definitely not on my bingo card. Yet here we are, and I have this pleasant surprise at number 6. At number 5, I have Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus. This new season did something that automatically makes it a cut above most romance anime out there, and that was graduating our characters from high school to college, which is so rare in anime, unfortunately, but this anime showed how natural it is to the progression of the story. And of course, we get to see Sakata and Mai grow up together. I mean, come on, how does that not put a smile on your face? For that, the Rascal series continues to cement itself as one of my all-time favorite romance anime. Now I have read criticisms about this season focusing too much on other girls and their problems, but for me, I personally didn't mind. The way this story used different supernatural phenomenon to represent each person's struggle was something I always enjoyed, and it's no different here. Also, when you have a protagonist who is actually interesting and already in a stable relationship, exploring other storylines is more than okay with me. And knowing that we're slowly reaching the end of this series, I'm going to enjoy every episode I can. At number 4, I have a crush at work. Yup, you heard that right. It's not I have a crush at school, it's I have a crush at work. Do you know what that means? We legitimately got ourselves a romance anime with actual adult-aged characters. Holy cow, guys. Anything is possible. Anything.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Do you hear that, officer? I love it when anime have adult-aged characters. Yes, I do. Yes. But listen, it gets better. It's not just the age. Our characters actually look and act like adults too. Yeah, you know how it can be when it comes to adults in anime, certainly questionable at times. But not here. This anime feels like a rom-com made for the adult audience. I mean, it wasn't even shy about portraying intimacy. No, not just the steamy hand-holding, but the other stuff. And it was done in a way that felt genuine instead of being cheap and fan servicey. But perhaps my favorite part of this anime is the absence of drama. It's just a chill, straightforward romance made for an older audience to enjoy. Now, yes, I know there are other workplace romance anime out there. Amongst them, though, I Have a Crush at Work is simply one of the best, and it deserves to be one of the top romance anime of the year. At number 3, I have The 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You Season 2. Yes, an anime about a guy getting 100 girlfriends is in fact ridiculous. But you know what's even more ridiculous? The fact that this harem anime has more wholesome romantic moments than anything I've seen from Hollywood in the past decade combined. So if you really think about it, is Japan really the crazy one here? The way I see it, 100 Girlfriends is just picking up the pieces, righting every wrong, giving us every relationship that could have been, should have been. And it's all made possible by my man Chataro. Rentaro. Yeah, Rentaro. This anime, though, is not just about getting all the girlfriends. It's also about exploring every trope and plotline to ever exist in romance. All the good and even the bad. So at the end of the day, it is the ultimate parody, yet also the ultimate remedy for all the disappointments in the romance genre. So well played, 100 Girlfriends, well played. It is unironically the best rom-com of 2025, and I can't wait for the 3rd season. At number 2, I have Call of the Night Season 2. If I had to describe this anime in one word, incredible. There's just something about the way the animation brought to life all the dark scenes in the nighttime scenery. Then there was the music that brought a calm yet somber atmosphere. And then in the blink of an eye, it would switch to something more suspenseful and unsettling. It really pulled you into this mysterious world of humans and vampires. It had a certain vibe that felt unique, completely different even from the first season. This one was more contemplative and serious, but still felt like a proper sequel. It added more depth to the story and its characters. And in the middle of all this, it had a question. What even is love? Is it when you're attracted to someone? Is it the one you want to hold hands with and kiss? Does it come easy, or is it something that takes time to develop? This anime didn't necessarily try to give all the answers. It just made you think as you watched the story unfold. In romances, love is usually presented as warm, fuzzy feelings that are accepted at face value without ever challenging its authenticity. But Call of the Night Season 2 was one of the rare romances that took the time to explore this thing we call love, and also creatively tied it to vampire lore. So coming from someone who has watched literally hundreds of romances, this is one of the most unique ones I've ever seen. I may have put this anime at number 2 for the year, but I have no problems with anyone saying this is number 1. It was just that good. And for my number 1, in a year that was absolutely stacked for romance anime, there had to be something a bit more than what you would get in a top-tier romance. And The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity had just that. In fact, there were a number of things that made this anime special. It had absolutely no fan service. The story was very grounded. The production quality was off the charts. But what really stuck out to me was how this anime depicted kindness. Yes, kindness. Kindness in an environment that is divided by hate and misguided assumptions. A place that maybe feels a bit too familiar. This anime showed that kindness in such a place is important. Not because it will fix the complex issues of the world, but because in such a world, the person in front of you probably needs it. Even the smallest of gestures could make a difference. It could make someone's day or even inspire someone to be better. And that someone could even be you yourself. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is not a feel-good romance just because of how our couple treated each other. It's also because of how they treated those around around them. It makes the love they have for each other feel that much more genuine because you know that they themselves are genuine. But they also didn't do it alone. It was the kindness of others that helped shape them to be who they are. So at the end of the day, The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity wasn't just the most wholesome romance anime I've watched this year. It was also the most meaningful. It was an important reminder to be kind to others and also to yourself. And on the other side, appreciate those who are kind to you. Kindness matters and the world could use more of it. So for all that, The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is my #1 romance anime of 2025. And may the year 2026 be a better year for us all. Thanks for watching.